So we're going to talk about some stuff today because I have been cooped up in this house for far too long. However, I have learned a few things about being in self-isolation, quarantine, whatever you want to call it, cooped up in the house in regards to parenting. My name is Leilani. This is our channel, Living with Eve, and I have 4 kids, 10, 8, 6, and 3. And the 3-year-old, if you don't know, does have special needs. She has Down syndrome. And I'm going to share with you what I've learned about parenting. This is also a collaboration with Colleen over at Our Blessed Life, so make sure to check her out. I will put a link down in the description box as well as a playlist. Life has tremendously slowed down, at least for us it has. I don't have to take my kids to co-op, ballet, therapy sessions, even going to our congregations. So things have slowed down, and that also means that my brain is not so cramped up. My brain is not stuffed with a bunch of things that I need to get done, deadlines, what I need to do here, what I need to do there. Oh no, the dishes are, okay, you get the point. My mind has more room. I can spread out and I can take a shower in my mind because I'm not taking showers at home because I don't need to. Who cares if I smell? I can think clearer. I can make better choices, and tell me if you can relate to this situation with your kids. I have been losing my patience with them much more quicker, which actually is kind of a good thing because I'm starting to see them do the same kind of things over and over and over. That's called insanity, by the way. So now I'm seeing their patterns and I'm a lot quicker to discipline them. And guess what? Now I can be more creative with my discipline because I can think clearer and I can just, they don't like me too much sometimes. Before, I was tired. I was busy, my brain was cluttered, I picked my battles, I couldn't think what was the best kind of discipline to put into place. And then at the end of the day, I didn't think disciplining them was really that important, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore, so I just let it go. I totally did this. So my kids don't like me too much right now because I have been taking their phone away. Not the whole time. You know how when you get mad at your kids and you're like, if you don't clean your bedroom in 5 minutes, you will have no phone for the rest of the day. Okay, you just screwed yourself over because guess what? You don't have any leverage for the rest of the day. So what I started doing is 5 minutes. You lost 5 minutes of time. 5 minutes of time. Oh, you want to argue with me? Okay, 5 more minutes. You said what? 5 more minutes. Oh, and you can earn it back too if you're respectful. What was that again? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you will do the dishes? Okay, are you saying that because you want your phone back and you're trying to manipulate me, or just because you love me? And that's another thing that I've learned about parenting is I can see through their manipulations and they're not getting away with stuff. When you're cooped up in a house, people fight with each other. Kids fight with each other. And now I actually have time to walk in the room and coach them through their fight. Let them, I don't try to break up the fight. I'm not breaking up the fight, I want them to figure out how to do it on their own. I mean, sometimes in the past I'd be like, oh, your sister stole your iPad? We'll figure it out. Ask her nicely. She'll give it back if you ask her nicely. Now I can go in there and I can, okay, what do you think the right thing to do is? How should you respond? Okay, let's rewind the tape and do that whole thing again with the right choices. I have time for that now, and I can think clear enough to come up with some really cool ideas to get them to learn those lessons, which I hope they're learning. I really hope they're learning. Oh, and what's even better is when they have that same fight again, like, a couple hours later, I can actually remember what I told them 2 hours later and how I coached through them. I can say, remember when I told you this? And it's just, you know the process. But I have time for that now. It's pretty awesome. With being in self-isolation and parenting, a lot of parents are having to deal with the fact that their child is not going to public school or private school. Thankfully enough, we have been homeschooling, and I'm just gonna be honest with those of you that do send your kids to public and private school and you're looking at us homeschoolers going, wow, how do you do this? Okay, we picked out the curriculum. We decide when we get to homeschool, what they get to homeschool, their hours of the day. We get them in a routine. We know our kids' like learning styles. Okay, so we actually spent a lot of, hair pulling time figuring all this stuff out. Plus, we're not dealing with 1 kid and 6 teachers. We're not dealing with 5 kids and 30 teachers. We have 1 teacher, one family, and a lot of the times we like to combine curriculum. So, don't get jealous. We just do this differently. Your virtual school, man, when I hear these stories of what you guys are going through, I do not envy you at all. In fact, I honestly pray for you guys every day because you got it tough, and that is not homeschooling at all. But I'm gonna be honest, with our homeschool situation, I haven't really noticed much, except that we don't go to co-ops anymore. My kids really miss their friends. We talk to them on the phone, we do live streams, my kids play video games with them, if they didn't lose their minutes. But I do notice with Naomi's therapy, how much I am dependent upon their therapist, because we have changed therapy sessions into teletherapy. And if you don't know what teletherapy is, it's where my therapist gets in touch with me in the morning. I sit down in front of my iPad and I do all the work while they coach me through this. Okay, sounds great and all, but you know what? I have a whole new respect for a physical therapist. I was out of breath today. Naomi is not like super light anymore and she fights. That girl is strong. So now, instead of giving my child over to a therapist and letting them deal with her, things that she needs to work on, I have to work on it with them. Instead of hearing what happened in the therapy session and what I need to do to change those bad habits, now I'm seeing those things in the therapy session and I am changing those habits. In fact, throughout the day, I'm starting to notice things. For example, Naomi's feet like to turn in. Well, they gave her leg braces, or actually foot braces. We're down to foot braces now, to wear to correct that problem. Well, I'm lazy and sometimes I don't put them on. Well, now I know why I need to put them on. And sometimes when I see her in the morning walking around with those feet, I'm like, oh no, those braces are on. That's one example. I've also learned a lot about sensory processing and pushing versus pulling with her legs, especially pushing and getting that sensory input. Like, I know about it, I've read the books, right? And I've seen it with some kids, but with her, I've never seen really the way, it's almost like seeing it through the therapist's eyes. And it's so wonderful now that I get to have time to listen to my kids. We all know that's important. Well, now I have time to do it. Unless they are trying to convince you to reverse their punishment that you just gave them because they decided not to give up their phone when you asked for it and instead crawled under their sheets in their bedroom and played Roblox with their friends. Because those conversations with your kids can last a long time. And now, because my patience is shorter, I just nip them in the bud and take off. 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. You want to keep talking? 15 more minutes, 20. But because I get to listen to them more and spend more time with them, playing games. Oh, we have played some games. It is really bringing about trust and respect and even a deeper love for each other as people. And I said we play games and read books. Okay, we played like the nastiest game of Risk. Have you ever played Risk? We're doing some really good stuff in history. I use TruthQuest. I'll put the review up in the iCards right up above. But Risk, you want to talk about treaties and pacts and manipulation and just, it was pretty intense. And there was some serious conversations out of that game. And books, we're getting a chance to read through the Chronicles of Narnia, which I think I've mentioned before. We're on book number 4 right now. I think this is a time that my kids are gonna look back when they're grown up and they're gonna say, hey, remember that time we just sat during quarantine and cuddled up with mom and read the books? Those are the times that you want them to remember. Because those Narnia books are really good and I've been waiting to read them and now is the perfect opportunity. I mean, we read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in like 2 days and celebrated with the movie afterwards. And now since we're on Prince Caspian, we just started it today and we're gonna zoom through that book pretty quick too. But those are the moments that now being a parent, we're making those memories and building those children and taking time for them and all those wonderful positive things that we didn't get to do when we were so stuffed up and busy. And I think now, when things get kind of back to normal, because I don't think it's gonna be normal for a while, in my opinion. I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong. But the point is, people may not like me because I'm gonna start saying no to things, because I wanna put my kids first, because I want them to be godly people that glorify the Lord, that bring joy to people, make them smile, I want them to be good people. That stuff is way more important than a lot of other stuff. Don't forget to comment down below if you can totally relate to any of these lessons that I have learned, and even share some that you have learned. I'm really curious to see what you guys are going through. Let's keep this communication going. I know it's a small group, but I absolutely adore all of you, and I value everything that you say. So if you are new, go ahead and check out some of my old videos. If you are old, you can check those out too. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in our next video.